Hey, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, where we unravel mysteries and explore the unknown. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Today, we're diving into a topic that has fascinated and perplexed people for decades: the Apollo 11 moon landing. Is it a historical fact or a well-orchestrated fiction? On July 16, 1969, the world held its breath as NASA launched Apollo 11, a mission that would attempt the seemingly impossible, landing humans on the moon.
Did we really land on the moon? A query that has sparked countless debates and fueled conspiracy theories for over 5 decades. Today we're taking a closer look into the heart of this enduring enigma. The Apollo 11 moon landing. Was it a monumental achievement of human ingenuity or a sophisticated hoax? Our mission is to unravel this mystery, guided by facts, not fiction. So strap on your space helmets and join us as we journey back to July 1969, to the launch of Apollo 11. On July 16, 1969, Apollo 11, NASA's 5th manned mission, launched from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. This mission was unlike any other. For aboard the spacecraft were 3 men, each with an integral role to play in this historic venture: Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. Neil Armstrong, a civilian astronaut and the mission's commander, was the man chosen to take that one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Buzz Aldrin, a United States Air Force pilot, was his lunar module pilot and the second man to walk on the moon. Orbiting above them in the command module, Columbia, was Michael Collins, another Air Force pilot who would play a crucial role in ensuring their safe return to Earth. The primary objective of Apollo 11 was to complete a national goal set by President John F. Kennedy in 1961. To land 2 men on the moon and return them safely to Earth. And so, with the eyes of the world upon them, the trio set forth on their historic journey. The launch followed a series of stages, each meticulously planned and executed. The first stage, powered by a Saturn V rocket, propelled the spacecraft into Earth's orbit. Once in orbit, the second stage fired, pushing Apollo 11 further into space. The third stage propelled the spacecraft towards the moon, whereupon it entered the moon's orbit. The journey to the moon took approximately 76 hours, during which the astronauts carried out a series of checks and preparations. Once in the moon's orbit, Armstrong and Aldrin transferred to the lunar module, Eagle, leaving Collins alone in Columbia. They descended towards the moon's surface, navigating boulders and craters, until finally, the Eagle landed in the Sea of Tranquility. 4 days later, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin stepped onto the moon while Michael Collins orbited overhead. It was a moment that changed the course of human history and marked the beginning of mankind's exploration of space. As monumental as this event was, doubts and conspiracy theories began to surface almost immediately. Apollo 11 was a milestone in human achievement, the culmination of a dream and hard work. Yet, some people started to question the authenticity of the moon landing not long after it happened. One of the most widely discussed conspiracy theories revolves around the American flag planted by the astronauts. The flag appears to ripple and wave in the moon's atmosphere, leading some to argue that this is evidence of a breeze, which would be impossible on the moon's airless surface. Then there's the question of the missing stars. The photos taken by the astronauts on the moon's surface don't show any stars in the sky. Some speculate that this is because the whole event was staged, and the creators forgot to add this crucial detail. Next up, the theory of multiple light sources. The shadows in the photographs of the moon landing seem to suggest multiple sources of light, like a film set rather than one, as would be expected from the sun's illumination on the moon. Last, but certainly not least, is the theory involving the Van Allen radiation belts. These belts are zones of energetic charged particles around Earth, held in place by the planet's magnetic field. Some people argue that the astronauts could not have survived the trip through these radiation belts. Many of these theories are born out of a lack of understanding about space and technology at the time. In the late 60s, we were still in the infancy of our exploration of the cosmos. The average person had little knowledge about the realities of space travel, and the technology was so new, so revolutionary, that it was almost unbelievable. These theories continue to circulate, capturing the imagination of those who question the official narrative. They provide fodder for endless debates and discussions, fueling the mystery of the Apollo 11 moon landing. But what does science have to say about these theories? That, my friends, is where we're headed next. Scene script. Let's dive into the science and see if we can debunk these moon landing conspiracy theories. First off, let's tackle the waving flag. Many conspiracy theorists argue that the American flag planted by Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin seemed to flutter in the wind, something impossible in the vacuum of space. However, this theory doesn't stand up to the laws of physics. In the absence of air resistance, a flag would continue to move once set in motion. Armstrong twisted the flagpole back and forth to plant it into the lunar surface, which set the flag in motion. It continued to move due to momentum, not wind. Next, let's address the absence of stars in the moon landing photos. Some skeptics claim this is evidence that the landing was staged in a studio. In reality, the reason you can't see the stars has everything to do with camera exposure settings. The astronauts' cameras were set to daylight exposure to capture the brightly lit lunar surface and astronauts in their white spacesuits. Stars, which are faint compared to these subjects, simply didn't show up with these settings. Now, onto the theory about multiple light sources. The theory is that shadows in the photos don't all line up as they would under a single light source, the sun. But shadows on the moon are not like those on Earth. The moon's surface isn't flat, it's covered in hills, craters and rocks, all of which can distort shadows. Plus, the sunlight was reflected off the lunar surface, creating secondary sources of light. Finally, we'll tackle the Van Allen radiation belts. These are zones of high-energy particles held in place by Earth's magnetic field. Some suggest that passing through these belts would have been lethal to the astronauts. However, the Apollo missions were carefully planned to pass through the thinnest parts of the Van Allen belts, and they moved through them quite quickly. The overall radiation dose received by the astronauts was well within safe limits. These are just a few examples of how scientific facts and expert opinions debunk the theories surrounding the moon landing. Each one, when examined closely and weighed against our understanding of physics and space travel, falls short. Yet, even with these explanations, some still hold on to their doubts. So, what's the verdict? Did we really land on the moon? We've spent the last several minutes retracing the steps of the Apollo 11 mission, analyzing the theories that arose in its wake, and debunking the arguments of those who believe it was all a grand hoax. As we've journeyed together through this cosmic quandary, it's become clear that the evidence supporting the moon landing is not just substantial, it's overwhelming. Let's revisit some of the key points. We began with the Apollo 11 mission, a marvel of human innovation and ambition. On July 20, 1969, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin made history as the first humans to set foot on the moon. They planted the American flag, collected moon rocks, and left behind a plaque reading, "Here, men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon. We came in peace for all mankind." Yet, despite these monumental achievements, not everyone was convinced. A wave of skepticism arose, giving birth to numerous conspiracy theories. Some suggested the moon landing was a Hollywood production, while others pointed to perceived anomalies in the photographic evidence. But as we've seen, these theories crumble under scrutiny. The supposed anomalies in the photographs? They can all be explained by the unique conditions of lunar photography. The claim that the landing was a Hollywood production? It fails to account for the hundreds of thousands of people who worked on the Apollo missions, and the thousands of documents, recordings, and pieces of physical evidence that exist. Moreover, we've heard from countless scientists, engineers, and astronauts who have debunked these theories with facts, evidence, and first-hand experience. And let's not forget the moon rocks, which have been studied and verified by geologists around the world as being extraterrestrial in origin. The evidence is clear. The Apollo 11 mission was a genuine, extraordinary feat of human achievement. While there will always be those who question the official narrative, the overwhelming body of evidence supports the moon landing. While we may never fully convince everyone, the evidence overwhelmingly supports that yes, we did indeed land on the moon. The real question is, when will we go back?
If you like this video, please like and subscribe for new interesting videos.